Hey guys, today we are going to be going over the all-new Pro Series pads from Hystar. There aren't very many reviews out on these pads as of yet, so really excited to dig in and see what these guys have to offer the gaming community in terms of value and durability. Can they hold up to the high standards that most gamers expect from high quality pad? Well, let's take a look. If you're ready, let's go. As of right this very moment, the Pro Series pads only come in one size, XXL 400mm by 900mm by 3mm. That's going to be the biggest pad you can get, which is the desk pad from these guys. Okay, so anyways, moving on. With a thickness of 3mm, which is big enough for basically your keyboard and mouse to call home. Now, as you can see, the keyboard, mouse, and everything fits on here. Now, the site shows two different sizes for this pad, but currently XXL is all that's available for the Pro Series pads at this moment, which for me is a little bit of a letdown depending on how you look at it. So, not everyone is going to want a pad this big. You know what I'm saying? So, I would like to see these pads myself offered in, say, a 400mm by 490mm by 4mm and a 500mm by 500mm pad. I say this because the pad comes in with a price tag of $49.95, which is kind of high when some gamers don't need or want a pad that big. Now, that price does include 3-day free shipping, and which is calculated into the price of the pad. You will have three different options when it comes to the type of speed you're looking for in a pad or control or a mix of both, basically to choose from when deciding on your weapon of choice with the Pro Series pads. And we're going to start from the slowest to the fastest for these choices. For pad number one, it is going to be the Void. It brings you the slowest glide out of all the Pro Series pads. Closest resemblance for me to the speed of the Zowie GSR, if control is your thing and you've owned a Zowie GSR and enjoy the slow initial friction and slow dynamic friction of the Zowie GSR, the Void is your best bet. So, give you a few pictures here to look at, real quick, like, you want to look at it. I mean, this is all my opinion on the map that we're talking about. Just want to give you guys a little quick shot of their pads. Okay, so let's keep on moving. And Hystar also says on their website it isn't coated, with very little info / explanation of what they use to obtain water resistance for the Void. Also, you guys out there with longer than usual fingernails, the pad will leave visual scratches, marks on the Void if you let your nails touch the pad while swiping your mouse, which leads me back to coated or not coated. I'm just going to assume, because the pad surface is built from a silk derivative, that that's what is giving it its waterproof ability. And, me personally, from the time that I've used this, and I've used each of these three pads that I'm fixing to talk about for around 2 to 3 weeks each, and I don't want to have to take my camera loose every 5 seconds here, so we're not going to do that. But I can guarantee you that if you don't watch where your fingernails are or how long your fingernails are, every time you swipe, you're going to leave scratches on this pad, like I said. So you just need to keep your fingernails trimmed, I guess, with this particular pad. That's why I like, regular cloth pads, So for me, just like the Zowie GSR, personally, I feel like it's going to have a humidity problem myself. These guys, they say that it doesn't have a humidity issue, but I put in a many of hours on the Zowie GSR, and I can tell you, it's awesome when you first get it, but after about a month or 2 months, and it starts just getting muddy as hell. The next pad up is going to be the Fusion. The Fusion is a hybrid pad with the characteristics of the Aqua Control Plus or the Fanatic Dash in terms of glide, a middle of the road type pad if you must. You can see the difference in these two pads, with the void being on bottom and this is your fusion on top. It really does. I've taken my Fanatic Dash out and tried it out to see, trying to find some pads in my big giant collection that kind of resemble this pad, and that's pretty much what this pad feels like. Also, the humidity factor with the Fusion is going to be middle of the road depending on your environment, because the material isn't as loose as the Void. The initial friction on this pad, personally, dynamic friction as well, is going to be a little faster with the Fusion. And of course, a big dependence on what flavor of skates you're going to be using as well. I personally use BTL skates, mainly on most of my mice I use, which are in between core pads and Tiger ice skates. And last but not least, we have the Comet pad, which is going to have the characteristics closest to the Esports Tiger Grandmaster Quinn, in my own opinion. Initial friction is going to be really loose and fast, and dynamic friction will follow suit as well. It is made with nylon Cordura fabric and has the highest rating for water resistance, which basically makes it certified 2000 M waterproofing, which sounds like they sprayed 3M waterproofing on it, if you ask me. Which basically means it's coated, guys. So they may say it's not coated, but that's, it's coated. It feels like a pair of starched pants after being ironed. I feel like the Comet is going to have the longest life out of the Pro Series just because of the fabric being used. I've used Cordura fabric before, and it's a very durable fabric to use in a mouse. Each pad is using what Hystar calls high density foam, which gives the pads a nice fluid and even surface. And because they choose to go with 3mm thickness, there is little to no cushion or give on these pads. So if cushion is something you're looking for in a pad, these pads aren't going to be it. Let's see if I can get this up here a little close for you guys so you can see how thick these pads really are. Can you see that? Yeah, they're not thick at all, guys. If you've had a 3mm pad before, you know how thick they are. So yeah, not very thick at all, and they're not going to be very relaxing to use if you like that comfort of a soft pad. So one thing I can assure you, if you've got a heavy hand, you're not going to have to worry about pushing this mouse into the pad. The base of these pads are natural rubber, and there is no rubber smell given off of the base, which reminds me, these pads do not give off any form of chemical smell, which is a big plus for me. Okay guys, to wrap it up, in conclusion, in my opinion, these pads are, they're good pads, but at the same time I feel like they're very basic pads. They're not, anything out of special, if you ask me. Each pad offers its own level of mouse control that individual gamers look for in gaming mats. It's just a matter of what kind of gamer you are. Controlling, which is the Void, controlling / speed, Fusion, or straight speed Comet. It's just a choice, guys. It's it's not rocket science when it comes to these pads. You know what you want. Like I said, you got the Void, you have the Fusion, and you have the Comet. Comet's going to be the fastest. Fusion's in between, and then the other one, which is the Void, is going to be your slowest one. So at the end of the day, my choice out of all three pads is going to be the Fusion pad right here in the middle. It's, for me, it just has the best feeling out of it. So if you guys are going to check one of the pads out, I would check out the Fusion myself. I personally really love the Fusion. I just feel like it has the best feel for my style of gaming. Steady tracking on takeoff and steady stopping when I need to stop. I think Hystar could have offered these pads in a smaller version and a thicker base to allow for stitching to be down lower to avoid arm burn or irritation. All in all, good pads, Hystar, but please stay away from the Zowie GSR style pads. I'm saying this because I was a Zowie GSR guy once upon a time, and no one likes a muddy pad. I don't know how many GSRs I actually went through. Um, so, personally, at the end of the day, don't make a fatal error and get a wrong pad. You know, do your research and see what's good for your style of playing. I hope you guys enjoyed the review of the Hystar Pro Pad series. Please, if you enjoyed the review, consider subscribing and hitting that thumbs up. If you have a question, please leave a comment and I will follow up pretty quick. And if you guys decide you would like to get this pad, or any of these 3 pads to be honest, I will have a actual affiliate link in the bottom for you guys to go to and purchase these pads. And they're not awful pads, guys. So, you know, the price on them, like I think I said before, I think they're a little outrageous on the prices, you know, for these pads. Yes, you know, obviously the pads themselves they're long pads, so the material costs a lot of money, so you're going to pay that extra money for these long pads. Some people are going to like that, some people aren't. So at the end of the day, it's all preference. With all that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. This is Fatal, signing out.